morning.
Good morning, everyone. It's so good to see you all.
Good morning, doctor. So good to see you too.
And I want to take a moment and say thank you, Ezra, for the Mother's Day flower. It is beautiful. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. Thank
you. And I love the way that it drapes your face. So lovely. Okay, we will start today's lesson looking at a few idioms.
Okay.
Are you able to see my screen with the common English idioms? Yes, I can.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So the reason I'm showing these idioms, they will be here on this page for you to refer back to when you are doing future lessons. We have several idioms that we've learned, and we've learned them well, but I want you to add more idioms to your conversation. So let's take a moment now and introduce ourselves, not so much to try and use an idiom, but I want you to understand that an introduction is going to be something less than 30 seconds. You're going to be very precise and exercise the example that I gave to you, whatever you're watching for as you're introducing ourselves. And I'll start. After I introduce myself, I'm going to say, what about you? What is your name? And if you haven't been called on, then either one of you can start to speak. And then you just call on the next person. Right now, no one knows who anyone is. Hello, my name is Dr. Priscilla. I am a native English speaker and I live in the US. I'm so excited to have you all as my students because I am an online teacher. Could you please introduce yourself?
Okay, hello, doctor. It's Hussein. I'm 27 years old and I'm a nutrition and agri-food technologies engineer. And I'm so pleased to be one of your students. Daria, could you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. I am Daria. I'm a teacher of English in a state secondary school. I've been teaching for 6 years. I really enjoy teaching job, and I'm very happy to be a part of this group. Astra, could you introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, my name is Astra. I am from Kyrgyzstan. I'm an English language teacher and I love my teaching. I'm very glad to attend this interesting online class. So, Astra, could you introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, my name is Esra and I am an English teacher in a secondary school. And I am very glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Okay, awesome.
And nice to meet you all, everyone.
Nice to meet you too.
Nice to meet you.
Very nicely done. Thank you, guys. So you're learning how the fluency for each of you is present, very obvious. There was no excessive pauses, no ahs, because this is something that you really know about. You know exactly your name, you know exactly where you live, you know exactly what you do, and things of that nature. And this is when you really should feel a sense of accomplishment. There should not be a rush in your heart, like, oh my gosh, it's time for me to speak, because this is something that is comfortable and easy. And it becomes easier to have longer conversations where you can speak for 1 minute or longer, and you become more comfortable and more comfortable and more comfortable. We are going back to the larger group at some point. We're just not there now because you are going to be my expert group. In the medical field, they have the group that they give the real medicine to, and then they give the no medicine. And they look to see how much one group gets better. No group knows that they haven't had the medicine. So when you go back into the larger group, they won't necessarily know that you all have had an advantage over them, but it would be from you being experienced with working with me that you would be their encourager when they ask questions like, why do I not have the words when I'm speaking with people who speak English? What would you say? What would you say to that person, Haas?
Well, I would say that we have had the opportunity to study with Dr.
No.
Mhm.
You won't tell them that. You will tell them that it takes practice.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay, so what would you
Practice again and again.
Right. And Ezra, ESRA, do we live in different communities? Although we are all humans, do we all live in different communities?
Of course, we are in different communities. For example, I live in Turkey and you are different, you are living in different countries as well.
Great. And I believe, Daria, that there is an advantage to interacting with people from different countries, whether it's Turkey, whether it's Australia or the US. What are some of the advantages, or what is one advantage, Daria, that you can think of?
Well, since I was an exchange student in Europe, and also because of thanks to my travelings, I had opportunity to meet so many people all over the world. I think the advantages. Let me tell one advantage. You have a great understanding. To You have a great understanding. You understand people better, and you try to learn about their cultures and their languages. So it really contributed to me a lot.
And where's my person that was supposed to point that out to Daria?
That's you, Daria, I think.
Oh, it was. Oh, okay. So maybe she was doing that as an example so we could hear them. Okay, good response, Daria, but you did have a lot of ahs in there. Okay. So go back and listen to yourselves and see if you can hear them. Because when you're speaking, you don't hear them. It's only when you become aware of them that you start to purposely block them out. But at first, when you're talking, you don't hear them. And the reason I know this is that I belong to a club called Toastmasters. And I would say, and they would count. I would have 50 or more ands, but I wasn't even aware that I was saying and. And all that was required is that I just stopped talking. So now I am so much better at that type of communication. So now it is for Astra. So that's what we just talked about, Astra.
About advantage, maybe I will just talk about. So advantage of meeting the new people and being on this online class, so helps me to be a global citizen, because I'm learning your culture, your language also. Today I learned about the superstitions in different countries, and it would be helpful for me when I will travel to your countries and to buy those evil protecting souvenirs in Turkey. It will be so helpful. I like those blue colors.
Right.
So, and it will be good for my family, for my friends, because some of them also believe, and we are also using this kind of things. But in my culture, we don't have blue one. We have black with white eye, like that. So.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Now let's dive into today's lesson. You see, what you're getting is to become comfortable speaking with me without thinking that, oh, she's going to judge me. No, I'm not, because we're all here to learn. So here are a few common English idioms. These will be here for you to look at. Let's just take a moment and Astria, would you read the first two?
In touch, in contact, or in communication. Second one, beat around the bush, avoid saying what you mean.
Haas, would you read the next two?
Okay. Better late than never. Better to arrive than not to come at all. Break a leg. Good luck.
Estra.
Yes. Call it a day. Stop working on something. Easy does it. Slow down.
And Daria?
Get out of hand, get out of control, hang in there,
Oops. Oops. Okay.
okay, don't give up.
Okay, great. All right, so you'll hear, maybe I will say some of them today. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Let me write some of them down. So before we call it a day, we're going to have a lesson. And I'm going to ask each of you to just hang in there. You are learning so much every day. All right, so our lesson for today is going to take us to over to the somewhere. I'm going to go to units. I don't think it's there. I think it was actually in the attachment. I'm looking for our lesson. Here it is. This is our lesson for today on page 13. Any questions about the previous lessons that we did?
No, for me.
Nope,
Not
Okay.
clear.
not for me.
Okay. So let's see. So here we did that 12. All right, business etiquette. So the business etiquette, let's think about this as a community. Business etiquette, what type of community would this be, Astra?
I think it will be very serious people.
Okay, very serious people or people that you work with, business venues
Yes.
that you work with. Okay. Okay, could you?
And also they need to follow kind of wearing them not casual office dress code.
Okay. All right. Okay, thank you, Astra. Astra, could you read number 1, prepare?
Prepare well for the meeting. Your input could be very important to the meeting. If you are using statistics or reports, for example, make sure it has been handed out at least 3 days prior to the meeting.
Okay, what do you think that means,
So
Astra?
I think it's very important to prepare ourselves for the meeting also. If we are going to give them to use the reports or statistics during this meeting, we need to give it 2 days or 3 days in advance earlier.
Okay, Daria, ask Astra a question about what she just said.
Okay, so how business people prepare, Asra?
So they need to prepare the statistics and reports in advance and to give it 3 days earlier to their people to before that meeting.
Why do you think that's important that they have these 3 days in advance?
I think it's very important for them to see what they will discuss during this meeting.
So they might point some things out. I don't want you to, so this is what I think is not happening. I think I'm the only one that's writing notes. I think I'm
No, I'm writing too. Here's
Okay.
my copybook.
Okay, thank you, Haas. Let me see yours, Ezra. Ezra with an E. May I see your notes?
Yeah, here.
Daria, may I see your
Also,
notes?
I have a notebook here.
Okay, awesome. So I don't want you to forget that you are still using point out, harp on.
Oh, yes.
If you don't use it, you're going to lose it. I just don't want you to use it all the time. So you can just say, okay, I did use it one time today. Yay! You know, or so I want to be very straightforward that if you're going to learn something, you have to remember what you didn't know or what you had not used before, and did you use it correctly? So
Okay.
not so much that I want to, I want you to know that if you hang in there, you're going to amaze yourself. All right, Ezra, could you read number 2?
Okay. Dress well and arrive in good time. Your professionalism is linked to both.
Ezra, what does the
Yes.
word linked mean?
Linked means combine.
Good. So if we link number 1 and number 2 together, we have two things that we now should know about business etiquette. Daria, could you ask Ezra a question about number 2?
Okay. So Esra, do you think in business, how people should wear?
How should people wear?
Yes.
I think they should wear formal clothes. They should prefer to wear jackets or a nice skirt for women. They should wear clear clothes. I think they should pay attention for these because in business life,
Who is my odd person? Is it Ezra?
Ezra, yes, Ezra.
I think
am
so.
Ezra.
Okay. Oh, well, Ezra, you must be the one that says so much. Okay, Haas, you have that role. So she's aware that she's saying and or whatever she's saying.
So
okay.
should I say speak?
Yeah, wait.
Okay.
Okay, so who asked the question of her again? I forget who I asked her the question.
Daria, can you repeat your question again?
Sure. So Esra, do you think how people should wear in business?
In business, people should wear formal clothes. They should prefer jackets, nice skirts, something else. Okay?
Something else like swimming suits, swimwear?
No.
And so
Okay, so Ezra, I didn't want you to necessarily cut your answer short, but I do want you to be aware that we're listening. And you know Haas is listening. He's on it.
Yep.
Okay. For example, women can prefer to wear high heels with stilettos. I don't know the name.
Stilettos.
Yes. For example, men prefer to wear tie. You know, tie. These are opportunities for wearing formal clothes.
Okay, good. All right. Haas, could you do number 3 and 4? 3 and 4.
So always remember to switch off your mobile phone. If there is a pre-planned seating pattern, accept it. If you are unsure, ask.
Daria, could you ask Haas a question about 3 and 4 or 3 or 4?
Okay. So Haas, why do you think switching off mobile phone is important in business?
Okay, I think switching off your mobile phone is important in a meeting because you may be distracted at any time when someone calls you while you are tuning in to your colleagues or while you are explaining what you want to say. So it shows that you are interested in the meeting itself.
Okay, good. Daria, could you ask Haas a question?
Okay. All right. So let me think. All right. So my question would be about seating pattern. Do you think seating pattern should be pre-planned?
Well, I think it's a mandatory. It has to be prepared before. I will say the same thing as I said before. It shows that you are into the meeting, and if you have some questions, you leave them till the person that speaks stops speaking, and you ask your questions.
Okay, Astra, could you ask Haas a question about 3 or 4?
So, could you explain me?
Explain to me. Explain to me.
Explain me. Could you explain to me what does a pre-planned seating pattern mean?
Oh, you know, I was about to ask the same question to Dr. Priscilla.
Okay.
I guess what the meaning is. I think it means plans
And the word pre, what is the meaning of pre? Before.
Prepared before.
Yeah, pre-planned. So that's what it means. Everyone knows where they're going to see it. Everyone knows where they're going to sit when they come into the room or enter into the meeting. So it's pre-planned.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good. Who did not ask? Who hasn't read yet? I can't remember.
I didn't ask question.
Okay, ask the question, Ezra.
Which one?
You
3
have,
or 4?
have you read Ezra?
Yes.
Okay,
I haven't read.
okay. Well, read number 5 for me.
Okay. Briefly acknowledge the chair and other participants before introducing yourself. For example, I'd like to thank the chair and all of you for this opportunity to speak today.
Okay, so before I ask anyone to ask your questions, I want to say, usually when you all come in, you'll say, hey, Dr. Priscilla, thank you for the class today. And you often say, when I ask, what is your takeaway? First of all, I'd like to say, thank you for having the class. That is what they're saying. Acknowledge me when you are going, before you start to give your dynamic speech, you say, I'd like to thank, or it is my honor. Okay.
Well, doctor,
Yes.
what about chair? It means the spot that you have been given in the meeting, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
For me, I am the facilitator of this meeting. Yes, the chair. Haas, could you ask Ezra a question about number 5?
Okay. Well, Ezra, why do you think that acknowledging the chair is something important in a meeting?
It is important because people should know your feelings about this
Well, wait.
opportunity.
Wait.
That's all.
Now
I have an eye on you. My 2 eyes are on you, Ezra.
And I didn't hear the answer. I didn't hear her answer. I was laughing. I didn't hear your answer, Ezra.
Okay, let me try again. I think the acknowledge is really important for the businessmen that who invite you in there, because they should they want to know your feelings about this this opportunity. What is meaning about yourself? What it is? What is it? What is it meaning of for you?
Daria, could you ask Ezra a question?
Okay. So, Esra, how do you acknowledge the chair? Can you give a concrete example, please?
Thank you. For example, if I in this situation, I can say that I would like to be here, and I am so grateful to
I'm going to give you another way in a few
this
seconds.
opportunity for me. Thank you very much.
So Ezra, remember, you can say things when you're like, I don't know what to say. That's a great question. I've never been asked that question before. Or thank you for that question. Whoever asked you that question, I'll say, let me think for a second. Then take a second, because you know that the words are going to come. Believe that the words are going to come. Okay. Did everyone ask Ezra a question?
I didn't ask the question.
Okay, please ask Ezra a question.
Okay, so it's a kind of introduction part of the meeting, but how will you conclude the meeting? Yes, how will you finish the meeting?
Well, that's not in the question. That's not in the question.
Oh.
Ask her the question that's in the question that she may not know the answer. She might, but she would only be responsible for answering what's in her number 5.
Okay. Okay. In this introducing part, does the person ask the names of the participants?
Huh? I don't understand.
Okay.
What do you mean about this?
So you introduce yourself before they're starting the meeting. And do you let them to introduce with each other? Give them chance to introduce themselves?
No, because I have already have some knowledge about the man that who invite me there. So there they should be ask to me some questions. I am in a questionnaire.
Okay.
So as,
Thank you.
so as I understood the question, I'm not really sure if I understood the question, but does the person that is getting ready to speak ask the person their name or mentions their name or something like that? But whatever the case may be, when the person comes on, like before I come on, before I speak or I may speak, then Astra, you'll say, well, Dr. Priscilla, I really am proud and happy to be in the class. Thank you for preparing this for me. You already know my name.
Of course.
So you will say, Dr. Priscilla, or if you don't know my name, you would say, I'd like to thank the chairman, which is my name, or the facilitator, which is who I am, or I'd like to thank the teachers or the doctors. I don't know if that is your question. Let's quickly look at number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which we are not going to look at. You can look at those later. So these are the 10 business etiquette guidelines that are applicable to any formal meeting.
Okay.
What kind of meetings are considered formal? Formal being when you wear something other than jeans and a t-shirt. I'm dressed very informally today. Okay. So what kind of meetings are considered formal? Esra. Esra. Give me an example. Give me an example of a meeting that would be considered formal.
Astra or me?
ES.
Formal.
ES. Formal.
Yes, me, yes. Okay. What kind of meetings are considered formal? For example, if you
Okay, now let's start again. So when I ask a question, it's okay that you, because I don't necessarily know what I need to correct you on or advise you on. When I ask you a question, just think that people who are listening are not even sure what the question was. So I'd like for you to repeat the question so that I know that you know what I've asked. When I ask what kind of meetings are considered formal, I might say, that's a great question. I believe meetings that are considered formal are meetings where you dress with a suit and tie and ladies wear skirts or stilettos. Doesn't have to be true. That's just your answer. Say, Ezra, could you tell me what kind of meetings are considered formal?
that's a good, nice question. Thank you for this question. I think the meetings are considered formal that women wears high stiletto skirts or jackets, and men prefer to wear a tie and jackets also.
Okay.
These are considered formal.
Great. So Ezra, I want you to challenge yourself to work on the letter W, WH, and WE. Were, what, because I know what you're talking about. If I didn't know what you were talking about, I would be, what is she saying? It's were. Astra, could you say the words were and where?
Were where,
Okay. Were where. The shoes were where I
were,
left them. Can you say that? The shoes were where I left them.
the shoes were where left them,
Where I left them.
I left them.
Okay, again.
The shoes were where I left them.
Okay, Daria, could you say the shoes were where I left them?
The shoes were where I left them.
The shoes were where I left them.
The shoes were where I left them.
Haas, could you say it?
Okay, the shoes are where I left them.
Where? Where?
Where I left them.
Okay, again, Haas.
The shoes were where I left them.
I don't hear the word were. The shoes were where I left them.
The shoes were where I left them.
Okay. Esra, could you say the shoes were where I left them?
The shoes were where I left them.
Okay. So I think all of you might benefit from looking at were and WH. It's a sound. The shoes were where I left them. The shoes were where I left them. The shoes were where I left them. Daria, fast, quickly. The shoes were where I left them.
The shoes were where I left them.
Again.
The shoes were where I left them.
The shoes were where I left them.
The shoes were where I left them.
Hans, where are your shoes?
The shoes were where I left them.
Ezra, where are your shoes?
The shoes were where I left them.
And Astra, where are your shoes?
The shoes were where I left them.
Okay, so that may be something that all of you should practice. It's not so much about the shoes, but it's the word where. When you have these words together, your mouth is like a tongue twister. Oh, the shoes were where I left them.
The shoes were where I left
The
them.
shoes were where I left them, but not so slow. The shoes were where I left them. Unless you're like, where are your shoes? The shoes were where I left them. The shoes were where I left them. Okay. All right. Who has not? So who was I asking the question? Was it Ezra?
Yes, me.
Ezra.
What kind of meetings are considered formal?
I consider meeting that.
Ezra?
Yes.
What are you?
That's a good question. Thank you, Dr. Priscilla. The meeting that I considered formal, women wear high stilettos, high heels, stilettos.
Okay, and okay, that's fine. And Ezra, high heels or stilettos?
Stilettos.
Stilettos, okay, stilettos.
Stilettos are high heels too, but stilettos are a little higher.
Okay.
Okay, stilettos.
So high heels or stilettos.
High heels, stilettos. Okay, okay.
Okay, and I would tell you that stilettos is a little sexist, so you probably won't say stilettos in the office environment. You'll say high heels.
Okay.
Okay, high heels.
All right. Astra, could you do number 2?
Why is it important to dress well and arrive on time? So, Hos, could you answer to this question?
No, you are supposed to answer.
Okay. Why is it important? So, why is it important to dress well and arrive on time? It's a very interesting question.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
And it's very important because the person will feel himself or herself very comfortable, not to feel like a fish out of water in that meeting, because all of them will be wearing formal dresses and jackets. So, and it is a rule of the business ethic to wear the dress and formal dress code.
Okay.
And also arrive on time, also not in the middle, because it will also disturb and bother, kind of annoying other people.
Okay, and try to keep your responses under a minute. Under 30 seconds should be fine. Daria, could you do number 3?
Okay. Which one do you think is most important, Eric, from the list? If you don't agree with others, is it good to interrupt?
Answer. Oh, I think what it was, I think I was asking the questions. Okay, but never mind. Go ahead. Answer the question.
All right. So that's a good question, actually. I think the most important ethic from the list is to acknowledge the chair and participants before before speaking in a program or event, because it's good. It's a kind of showing your respect and your kindness. So that's important for me.
Okay, thank you. I heard a lot of ahs in there though, but that's okay. Let's see, discussion. Let's see. Here are, and we will end the session today after going over these idiomatic uses. I showed you earlier some idiomatic phrases. Idiomatic phrases and idiom, they are the same. An idiom is an idiomatic phrase. So these are idiomatic phrases. It says English idioms, but these are idiomatic phrases. Do you understand, everyone? So here are some idiomatic uses. And Haas, could you read the first one?
Okay. Cross someone's mind. A thought, idea, occur to someone. Example sentence. Perhaps Sandra would like to go to the art exhibition with us. Shall we ask her? Yes. The thought had crossed my mind as well.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to give you an example. When I learned that you guys were meeting on Zoom, I thought that was fantastic. And Haas said something, but he didn't use these words, but it did cross his mind to ask me to join. Do you understand?
Okay.
So it did cross your mind, you just never asked me, but it had crossed your mind. Can you give me a comment or something about anything that you wish Haas and use crossed my mind other than my coming to a class with you guys? Yeah, I want you to use cross my mind or cross my mind or some version of it.
Okay. So do you want me to give you an example? Any example from my mind?
Well, I want you to give me a comment, a statement, or a question.
Okay.
I want you to use cross my mind. I'll give you another one. It crossed my mind that the students were using the idioms I was giving in class, but I'm not so sure that they understand not to put all of the idioms in the same conversation.
Okay. So it crossed my mind that I was using the phrasal verbs that I learned from the previous lessons, but I didn't, in fact.
Okay, but you did, in fact. It crossed my mind that I was using the idioms from previous lessons. I didn't realize I was using them too frequently. And you realize it now because I brought it to your attention. Okay, try again.
What should I say?
Okay, let's go to number 2. Astra, could you read number 2?
Take one's mind off someone, something.
Keep thinking, Haas, for yours. Okay.
Diverts one's own or another person's attention from someone, something unpleasant. Example sentence. Let's go to town and see a film. It will help to take your mind off your troubles. Additional activity now to try to make your own original sentence using these idioms.
Okay, so here would be an example. Take one's mind off something. My tooth hurts. Oh, my tooth hurts. My tooth hurts so badly. Well, to take my mind off of my tooth hurting so badly, I think I'm going to watch TV and laugh at this comedy show. I want to take my mind off of my bad toothache. I'm going to watch TV. What are some things that you can do to take your mind off of something so that you won't think about it? Okay, that was my example. Can you give me an example sentence using take one's mind off something?
When, for example, when I was so stressed during my studies in the US, my friend always said, Astra, it will let's go to the park. It will help you to help you take your mind off your studies and of your exams.
Very good. Now that was too long, but that is a good example. Can you tell it to me again?
So very shortly, should I?
Yeah, it should not be so long.
Okay.
You
When
you were feeling stressed and your friend said, let's go to the park to take your mind off.
Okay. Okay. When I was stressed at the college, my friend always said, let's go to the park. It will help you to take your mind off your exams and tests.
Okay, good. Haas, are you ready?
Okay. Well, it crossed my mind that I asked you about the meaning of the verb gear up, but I didn't, in fact, doctor.
Okay. And Daria, choose either one or two and give me an example.
I choose the second one.
Which
I'm
is?
saying, yeah, which is take one's mind off someone or something.
Okay.
I'm staying whole day at home. Sometimes it's really boring to me, but I think it will help to take my mind off being at home to to join online lessons or watch films.
Okay, it's a little long, so can you make it shorter? Sometimes when I'm bored at home, I watch films to take my mind off of whatever you say.
That's great. I took it as an example and I'm going to rephrase. Okay. When I feel bored at home.
First, tell me what you're doing. Remember, I don't know what you're talking about. So I choose number two.
I choose number two, which is take one's mind off someone or something. So my example is when I feel bored at home, I sometimes watch films to take my mind off.
Okay. And who has not gone?
Me.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
And I choose number two, take one's mind off someone. Talking on the phone took my mind off the pain.
Very good. Talking on the phone took my mind off of the whatever it was that you said. Very good, very short and appropriately used. So it crossed my mind that if we did this lesson, this would be a great lesson for you all to understand specific things, what to do in formal situations, what to wear, what not to wear, should you arrive on time, various things. So we dove into this lesson today and we ended with two idiomatic uses. I want you to refer back to the ones that we had on the Facebook page, the common English idioms, which is the same as idiomatic phrases. Now let's go back to, we're done for today. I really appreciate the fact that you all were attending and arrived on time. What is your takeaway for today? Let's start with Haas. What is your takeaway for today?
Okay, for today, from today's lesson, I've learned a lot of new words and idioms. I've learned too how to stay in touch with your colleagues while you are in a meeting, for example. Something which is important too is not to beat around the bush. If you are in a meeting, that's it.
Very good. call in someone else, Haas.
Okay. I will
What is your
choose you.
takeaway?
Daria. Daria, what is your takeaway, please?
Okay. So I'd like to point out that I learned some rules about business ethic, and I will harp on diving into speaking from now on without thinking too much. And also I learned two idioms which are cross my mind and take one's mind off. Thank you.
Okay. Who would you like to call on, Daria?
Okay, Esra, what is your takeaway for today?
Thank you, Daria. I just think about cross someone's mind. It is an idiom. And take my mind off and dive in. Dive in is really new for me.
So that's your BOL. Okay.
Break
Ezra,
out.
Thank you.
Ezra,
Astra,
who would you like?
Astra, what is your takeaway? Okay.
Thank you for your question, Esra. And my takeaway from today's class is new idioms and also ethic rules. And the funny thing that before this class, I couldn't understand the meaning break a leg. I was asking my friends why they are wishing me break a leg. And now I understood that it's good luck.
Okay, very good. Okay, so that's great. Thank you, guys. You all really have the benefit of me extending my classes much longer than I even intend to, but I enjoy speaking with you all and watching you all grow. So I want to say thank you all so much for today.
Dr. Priscilla, thank you. Happy Mother's Day again.
And happy Mother's Day to the mothers of you all. It is a great
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
doctor.
Okay, take care. I'll see you on
Take
the
care.
you. Bye.
Bye.
You.
Goodbye.
I will post an assignment for you as well. Bye.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.